Okay, dude, you gotta like find a spot. Here, go back there. Let's get this started. Hi everyone, and welcome back to another week. The Inner Goddess series. Mosby is making a cameo here. It's reminding me that he is my baby too. Thank you for joining. This week we are going into the Inner Crone phase, which is right after the Inner Wild Woman. Your inner wise self, and whether you're male or female, it doesn't matter. You can connect with these feminine archetypes. It is based on the female cycle of the 4-week cycle. So this is moving out of the inner wild woman phase and into the inner crone, where you are typically menstruating. It's a time to go inward. This is a time where I like to think of it as like my inner grandma putting a nice comfy blanket around herself, drinking a cup of tea, having some time alone in contemplation, meditation, or maybe just a nap. That's a time in our cycle where we generally, our body is feeling a lot. It's still good to rest physically, but I have noticed towards the middle to the end of this phase to get some energy back. A lot of it is mentally and emotionally, I get more clarity. So it's a good time for us to do goal setting, planning, visualization. You could do like a future self meditation. It's also a time for us to receive guidance, tapped into the divine during that time. Every tribe has an elder that they go to for counsel. So this is a good time to seek counsel, but also to give counsel or guidance, not unsolicited. But if you're a reader like me, this is a good time to do readings, things like that. Less charged emotionally. I have more lucidity in my thinking. I find that I can communicate better and really plan out my goals. Maybe not to go ham getting things done physically, but you can do a lot of mental work. One of those times where you're receiving a download of information and then processing and assimilating that into steps, into action steps. So it's not necessarily like taking the action per se, but it is a good time to evaluate, maybe go back to the drawing board and assess what's really serving you and what's not, and releasing what isn't, and allowing that to continue to cleanse through, kind of like the inner wild woman phase. You're in a detox period still, so you're just releasing and receiving. Still kind of a yin energy. If you do movement, it's a slow yin. Yoga, at the very end of yoga, you do sweet shavasana, which is my favorite, which is you laying there doing nothing. And what you're guided to do during that time. And it's not that you're not doing anything. You're doing a lot. When you're meditating, you're not doing anything. It's just you're not outward. You're not external. You're inward. You're going in. That leads me to my next topic, which is the goddesses and the deities that I felt drawn to for this part in the series. I was going back and forth between the Kalila and Baba Yaga. Most of my content, I really rely on spirit to guide me intuitively. Going back and forth because they both have this crone energy. I had a dream and it wasn't just any dream, it was like a visitation. So vivid, I could see everything in great detail. I dreamt that there was this little old woman standing outside my backyard gate, my garden gate, and I opened the gate and she was standing there. I can still see exactly what she looks like. Now mind you, I've never seen this woman in my waking life. Explain to you what she looked like. She had on like a little grandma sweater, embroidered roses on it. She was standing there kind of like this, just real sweet, telling me that she was a benevolent force. She was good. She was a sweet grandma type. Sweet, simple smile on her face. And she had sort of olive skin, hair underneath. So maybe in her younger years, she would have been either like a dark brunette or with black hair. And then on top, she had the silver and white, the details of freckles and things in her face. And the fact that she was standing at my gate, like she wasn't at my front door, she was at my back gate that goes into my backyard. When I opened the gate and she was standing there, like imagine if you're in your backyard and you open the gate and then someone's standing right there. That I jumped and it startled me awake. That was all that happened, but it was a message for me, and I knew that whoever this was the one that I was supposed to include in this series. I believe that was the Baba Yaga making her presence known to me. Baba Yaga I haven't really worked with on a personal level, and I felt that it was her when I had the dream. And then I went and did my own research, and I was reading about her. Come to find out, she knows every single botanical herb and plant in your garden. So when I read that part, interesting, foggy. Okay, well, we'll just roll with it. Yeah, I took that as a sign that was who was coming to me in my dream. The Baba Yaga. She is a Russian goddess of life and death. She's either feared or revered. She's that story in a lot of different traditions. You hear about it, like the witch in the wood. She has a little hut in the wood, fire. There's lots of creepy stuff. Sometimes she eats children or she protects them. Now we're coming to terms with the fact that a lot of these stories about witches and deities and that sort of thing were to disempower our inner wisdom that connects us to nature, that connects us to our intuition and our psychic ability. A lot of these older deities, gods and goddesses, predates Catholicism and early Christianity. They were demonized, right? Is something that we're trying to course correct. With that, I think comes the feminine power of listening to your own body, listening to your own inner wisdom, going within. Baba Yaga and this visualization of her going into the woods, I correlate that with going within, going inward, going into your inner wise self, meditation, slowing it down, going inside a little hut, right, for your own reprieve. As I connected with her energy, I felt more of like a grandmother energy, someone that you would want to go and ask questions to. Helped you to feel loved and safe. A lot of magical wisdom with a little sparkle in her eye, a little hidden secret to the universe. Was guided also to pull a card from the Goddess Love Oracle by Wendy Andrew. They just kind of give a lot of grandma energy to me. The crone energy really calls on you to slow it down. So I'm going to go ahead and pull a card here to reveal, and then we'll just use that as a journaling prompt. And then we'll go into the other goddesses, use those as a journaling prompt. You might want to get a pen, paper, that sort of thing. And then I'm going to go over some of the crystals that I felt called to include during this time as well, that could help you access more of your inner crone and utilize that. Kala is another crone that you can connect with. Very similar in energies, but from different sides of the map. She is more fair when I see her, and sometimes she shows herself as like a winter goddess, and then sometimes she shows herself as like a young maiden, but always with like either white hair or really white blonde hair. That's how the Kali law comes to me. Okay, so Care, we got Care, and she's holding a little fox. Isn't that beautiful? Looks like a nice winter, even though we're right in the middle of summer, but a nice little winter scene here. She's got a fox and a rabbit here, and she has a little birdie up there. Anyway, it's a beautiful card, and it says care, be gentle with yourself. So appropriate for this time to be gentle with yourself, be gentle with your body, be gentle with your emotions, be gentle with yourself. I love that. Your inner crone phase. Such a wise thing to in our mind. It could go, but our bodies, we are limited by our physical bodies. So our physical body houses our spirit, houses mind. So how can we be gentle with ourselves during this time? You might want to write out in what ways you could take action to be gentle with yourself. Maybe it's taking a power nap, maybe it's reading for a few minutes, stepping away from your busy life. Maybe it's allowing yourself to turn off your brain and listen to some music and take a soak in the tub. Things like that. The second one, this one means a lot to me. She's a Celtic goddess, Bridget, and she is one of the only old goddesses, predates Catholicism, that actually made it as a benevolent saint. Card here. Okay, Spirit, thank you for revealing to us what we need to know for this inner crone part in our inner goddess series. Danu. Danu is the goddess. Wow, I'll just go ahead and read it. So, Danu for sacred in the mundane. The goddess Bridget is a daughter of the mother goddess Danu, from whom the ancient Tuatha De Danann are named. That was a race of elemental beings. It's said that they became, it just became too harsh. They were able to kind of between different realms, the spiritual and the physical. So you think of the fae, fairies, elemental spirits. She was a mother goddess from whom the ancient Tuatha De Danann are named. Danu supports her people through the sacred nourishment of the earth. She reminds her people that the divine exists in all things. Perhaps your life is filled with mundane routine and you feel out of touch with the sacred. Today, invite in the divine. Give reverence and gratitude as you move through your day, creating sacred in the mundane. You are divine. All is sacred. You are folding laundry, or you're making your bed, or you're just doing routine tasks at work. Invite the divine in. Because really, all of that, it's like we want to rush through all of that to get to the thing that we think is so meaningful. And it's like, oh my gosh, all of it is here for us. Every single thing that we do, big and small, is the whole point. Clearing your mind, allowing space for the divine to come through. In what ways can you create divinity in your sacred routines that are otherwise considered as mundane? How can you invite the divine in to the mundane and allow for more of a sacred ritual? And one that's coming to me is I slow down, I breathe, and I allow the divine to take over. That simple mantra is just inviting the divine in. I slow down, I breathe, and I allow the divine to take over. You can connect with all of these deities that are of a crone nature, but one of the best ways to access that energy is right here within yourself. Your own intuition, your own inner knowing, and your own ancestral line. Now, whether you were close to your mother or your grandmother, it doesn't really matter. your ancestors will step in if you didn't really have that connection, and you can connect with them through meditation, or maybe you want to build a little altar, just light a candle, whatever works for you. I was feeling my mother, of course, in spirit, and my mom used to always say, trust your knowing. Really, to me, that's just trust your intuition. Trust your intuition. Not this kind of knowing, like divine knowing. Your soul knows, your heart knows the way, your higher mind knows the way. Trust, and trust yourself, trust your knowing. When my mother passed away, I went to her house and I found this book that we used to share together. It was an angel book, and where it is, it's hiding right now. It doesn't want to come out. But inside the book, she wrote a graduation, like a rough draft of my graduation card that she never mailed to me. So I didn't get that until the day that she passed. And it said, in all thy getting, let me see if I can get this right. Proverbs 4:7 is what it is. Get knowing, and with getting knowing, get understanding. In all thy getting, get understanding. In all thy getting, get wisdom. And with wisdom, get understanding. That saying is, you can get all of these achievements. You can learn all of these different things, right? You can get material possessions, and that's great. But wisdom is beyond. Wisdom is supreme. And with that wisdom, understanding. With wisdom, wisdom is within. Wisdom is experience. Wisdom is a bit different than knowledge. Wisdom is knowledge gained through understanding. And wisdom is something that you know on a soul level. Wisdom is something that you experience. This is your inner wise self. This is a wonderful time to receive divine guidance, downloads, and really trust your intuition, your insight, your psychic abilities. I want to pull a card for us from the Divine Feminine Oracle. She fell underneath. So there is Mary of Nazareth, the Mother of God. I am blessed. My courage gives birth to the divine. Somebody else wanted to be included in the video. Arthur. This is everyone. This is Arthur just waking up from our afternoon nap. So we pulled Mary of Nazareth, which is actually the Hebrew form of Mother Mary, who gave birth to Jesus. She goes by many, many names. One is the Mother of God, and the message in the book was talking about how she must have been terrified when Archangel Gabriel came to her and told her the news. Anyway, she could have said no, but she didn't. She chose to give birth to the divine. And it's just amazing when you listen to your intuition, you listen to your inner knowing, and you listen to your inner guidance, and then you act on that. When you go within, it takes courage. It really takes courage. And it's not always popular, right, to go with that voice. Mary of Nazareth and the Mother of God. I am blessed. My courage gives birth to the divine. For soul meditation here, you might want to put your hand over your heart to listen to this message. It is, am I in service to the light within me? Am I in service to the light within me? Am I in service to the light within me? You don't have to answer, just to let the answer arise, but just sit with that question. Okay, Artie. What do we have here? Did you pull us another card? Okay. Okay, Artie pulled Perpetua, the saint of authenticity. I am my authentic self in all circumstances. Let's move into the crystals and wrap this up, shall we? I think we can to get through this business. Hey. Being a little crazy. Should we go over the crystals? Let's go over the crystals. Oh, and your hand is actually right on the crystal I was going to talk about. Okay. Mommy's lipstick on you. This is labradorite, which I felt called to use. Labradorite really helps you to access your inner magic. The cool thing about labradorite is it kind of just looks like a boring old stone till you look closer, and in the light it reflects blues and greens. Yeah, isn't that pretty? Yeah. Blue, green, wow. And then there's just like all these crows that just flew over. It's amazing. Signs! This stone is, we like to wear this in public, especially if you're like walking in public. I've noticed I go the same route, like 3 blocks, just to go to Whole Foods or whatever for my work. And I've noticed a difference from day to day. It's this exact same walk, but wearing labradorite helps me to see walking in crowds differently. It helps me to come from a heart-centered space. It's also very protective, so it puts a shield barrier of protection around you. And okay, I got it. You want to be authentic. Helps you to see past people's ego mask that they wear into their heart center. So I feel like people are a little less like, you know, and you're like walking down the street and they just look at you like, and I get more like smiles or hi, backs kind of thing. Isn't that right? Yeah, yeah. Or they just like leave me alone, which is great too. All right, so that is the first stone that I felt called to. And I wear this necklace a lot. I used to wear it every day. I don't wear it as much anymore, but it's been calling to me lately. Moldavite is one of my favorite stones on the planet, out of this planet. Moldavite has this cosmic energy. It's actually like from a asteroid at one point. And it is something that you can work with in doses. Some people really can't handle it at first because it's really intense. I resonate with it, maybe because I'm from outer space. I don't know. It helps you with your spiritual awakening and accessing higher level spiritual concepts, things like that. Moldavite, yeah, because you're a little starseed. Okay, so that's Moldavite. What was the third one? Do you remember, Artie? Yes, I remember now. You're gonna love this, Arthur. So we have this is fool's gold, but it's also healer's gold. And the cool thing about it is, even though when they were doing the gold rush, they a lot of times thought that this was gold, and then they realized it wasn't. Like, that's where they got the name fool's gold. It's like what little kids find. They're like, oh, it's gold, you know, but it's not gold. It's healer's gold. And the cool thing about it is actually an amazing crystal. It has a lot of mineral properties, which I felt like was really good for this time period, especially if you're going through menstruation. It's a very grounding stone, and it helps you. I like to use this one in my Reiki sessions a lot. This one helps you to really helps kind of calibrate all the chakras, and it's a healer stone, so it allows all of these spiritual concepts to come through and in a grounded way. So I loved that. And that is a wrap for our Inner Goddess series. Thank you so much for joining. I hope that you take something from it or use the journaling prompts, maybe work with the deities or the goddesses of each archetype. And I hope that it serves you. You know, the cool thing about the Inner Goddess series is you can work with all of them at different times. Call on the Inner Crone to help your inner maiden. You can call on the crone to help the mother. You can call on the crone's been through all the phases. So she can access all those parts of herself and help you during those times. Your wild woman, the crone, can help you with all of that. And the inner mother, same thing. She can help the maiden. She can help the inner wild woman. The crone needs the maiden's help, you know, to remind her, like, hey, you're still young at heart. That is a wrap for us. Hope you get something from it. May you be blessed. These messages, let them serve you. Leave the rest and be blessed.
Always in my heart.